Hey guys, it's Christina. Welcome back to my channel. Several of my Twitter followers had expressed interest in hearing my thoughts on disability representation and inclusion in the film industry. I am also in the cards and also in the description going to be linking a previous video I did on the NFB Let Us Play Us campaign, which is kind of a bit of a similar topic. But yeah, let me just go ahead and jump right into this because I have several points here that I want to hit. And most of these come from there was a recent SAG-AFTRA discussion panel on performers with disabilities. And so a lot of these things I'm going to be touching on or mentioned in that panel. But I did want to kind of start off by saying that you know, it's representation and inclusion is one of those topics that I follow really closely because it's interesting to me. So I listen to whatever podcasts I can find about the subject, and watch panel discussions on YouTube and that kind of thing. And the thing I've noticed over the past year is you tend to see a lot of these same people pop up time and again. I'm guessing this is like the small group of working disabled actors in the film industry. So you see them time and again, and the first thing that they tend to talk about a lot of times is the statistics of what percentage of characters in movies and TV have disabilities, and then what even smaller percentage of that is played by actors with disabilities. And then a lot of them like to go into talking about how the Fairley brothers are inclusive, and they talk about the Easterseals Disability Film Challenge and respectability and real abilities, which I know the names of those more than what they are, but I know they're kind of in that same vein. And then now we have that Access Acting Academy, which I had mentioned before that I had applied to earlier this year and didn't get accepted into, which is fine. I think that one's more theater-based. But anyway, they all kind of go on these interviews, and instead of talking about, the accomplishments that they have made in their lives and talking about how grateful they are for those opportunities, they tend to talk about what's not being done as far as accessibility and inclusion and that kind of thing. And so when I was watching this panel, one of the things they had mentioned is that self-identifying, if you have a disability and you self-identify as that, it helps change the industry for the better. I'm still kind of on the fence about that kind of thing. I tend to, sometimes I'll include the fact that I'm visually impaired, in my social media bios, and then other times I'll take it out. So the reason that I'm undecided about listing my visual impairment on my resume and also on my social media is because, in a sense, it's an identifying factor if there are people in the community looking to connect. However, I feel like that's not my primary audience. My primary audience is the sighted horror community, although I am trying to get better about putting alt text on my images on social media. I will say that. But also, just in my everyday life, there are some people who look at me and they can tell there's something different about my eyes. And then there are other people who look at me and they completely confuse me for a sighted person. They ask me, where have I parked or something, And in fact, I had even asked people online. I did a poll and I asked people, do you list your disability in your social media? And somebody had said something that really resonated with me, and they said, it's not top of mind for me, so why would I want to make it top of mind for somebody else? And they tend to, a lot of these people tend to view disability as a lived experience, which I understand. But they say that it's not a skill set. They kind of think of it more as it's a lived experience, and they think that a lot of these non-disabled actors who are portraying characters with disabilities are mimicking or mocking disability. I mean, personally, I can think of at least a handful of performances that I've seen, by non-disabled actors over the years that, I personally thought were done quite well. I mean, I don't have that big of an issue with it. I definitely think that, actors with disabilities definitely need a fair chance to audition for things just like, the non-disabled ones do. But, I don't feel that, that characters with disabilities need to be played by actors with disabilities, because, if you're shutting the non-disabled actors out of that process, then how do you expect them to be your allies? There's an argument that the education denial is extremely high for actors with disabilities. That's not something I've experienced, and maybe it is a bit more complicated of a situation for people who are trying to enter theater. But, especially now during the pandemic, everything is online. So, if, we have this thing called the internet, you just go online, you can audit some classes, you can sign up for some Zoom classes, if one teacher isn't working for you, that's not the end of it, you can keep going and try some other teachers and find one that works. And personally, I have not experienced any feeling of missing out just because I've been taking classes with sighted people. Apparently that's how some people feel. So I was reading a post on Twitter by somebody who had said that when a character starts off non-disabled and then becomes disabled halfway through, that's a plot device so that people don't have to hire actors with disabilities. And I'm like, dude, you're thinking way too much into this. I can't tell y'all what I auditioned for last year, but I had auditioned for something, kind of similar to that kind of storyline, and I was treated well. They provided me with adequate time. They sent me the whole script. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel any different to me than any other audition, and I was grateful for the opportunity. So I personally would find these panels like 10 times more engaging if people would just go on there and be positive and talk about the great experiences that they've had on set and the cool people they've gotten to meet and give credit to the people who hired them. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to go ahead and leave some links in the description for y'all to check out after this video. Please give this video a like or a dislike, depending on your view, whether you agree with me or not. And, let's all have a civil, polite conversation about it in the comments section. I'll talk to you later. Bye.